Hey guys, it's time for the SVU After Show here at AFTERBUZZ. We're talking Season 17, Episode 19, Sheltered Outcast. Stick around, we got lots to talk about.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, welcome everybody. We're so excited. I'm Yael Tygiel. Let me introduce my lovely panel. Lauren Salaun.
Hello everybody, Lauren Salaun here. You guys can find me all over the internet at Lauren Salaun. Ooh, the dance.
What is happening
I
over there?
I like it. I missed it.
I don't know, it just happened.
Well, tell people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me, my name's Isabelle and you can find me everywhere as Isabelle.
And
I'm Jesse Janedy, and y'all can hit me up everywhere at DJ Jesse J, and also check out Yael's Intimate Interrogations podcast, in which I revealed
a lot.
Yeah, actually, like too much tea.
Yeah.
Me too.
I can't interview a friend.
Guys,
sorry.
As much as I'd love to talk about my new podcast, Intimate Interrogations, which is free on iTunes, we need to talk about SVU. I'm Yael Tygiel. You can tweet at me at Yael Tygiel, YaelTygiel. Let's talk about Sheltered Outcast, which was directed by Mariska.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yay! Before we jump in,
yes.
Good thing I wrote it on the board. Guys, we have a hotline for anyone who may need it. We understand that these are serious topics, especially, again, today's episode, which was about rape. So if you need this hotline, this is for you.
It's for RAIN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, and it's 1-800-656-HOPE, 1-800-656-HOPE.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, guys, we we make bad jokes, well, good jokes, they're just inappropriate, about serious topics such as rape, and that's what we do here. So please be advised if anything we say may be a trigger. This is your trigger warning, so know that before we begin, right?
Yes,
please.
That's our disclaimer.
Great, because we're going to say all sorts of terrible things.
Oh yeah.
By we, I mean probably just this one. Okay, so first of all, last week when we saw the promo for this episode,
Lauren, I need you to
Oh no, are things happening?
I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Okay.
Focus.
So last week when we saw the promo for this episode, I pointed out that we had actor Kevin Tig, or whatever his name is, who played Julian Cooper previously. He came back and played a character completely different, but that they knew. The old man that they were like, is that Gregory Searle here? That's Julian Cooper.
So strange.
Like, they couldn't, and he also liked little girls. Like, couldn't they have just kept the same character? Nobody else cares. Sorry, I cared about this so much.
Well, they should be. But as we found out from our chat with Ice, the consistency factor is lacking sometimes.
It hasn't
They're
been
like,
a big
whatever,
priority,
different guy, no biggity.
I mean, but they had him play someone who rapes children, and they decided not to have him play the same person who raped children.
Yeah, I feel like it's just a slip up.
Yeah, they just want the tone of rape in your head, so they just kind of switch the characters around.
This is Law and Order SVU universe.
Yeah.
I see. I like it. Anyway, so it starts like an old episode, right? Where we have the victim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It didn't start with, babies and crap like that.
Yeah.
It didn't start with
like
the team.
Their personal lives.
Past context.
Right.
Yeah.
It was, here's a rape. I was like, yay!
I wish I could have watched the first scene with you guys, though, because I did write down a few things that I imagined you guys all chuckled at in your head. When they walked up the street, the two women at first, and then bumped into the two black men, or the black man, they were like, let's cross the street.
Let's cross the street, yeah.
I was like, wow, okay. But the best part was when they found out that it was the sex offender shelter, and the guy said, oh yeah, I see them all the time, hanging out at the bodega buying cigarettes. I instantly thought of you two dying at that part because like, what kind of writing is that I see
bodega
buying cigarettes, shady characters buying. Okay, so
it's like, what sort of cliche lines can we come up with to make what is equals shady?
Right.
Great.
So the bad guy's clearly over 18. That we got that out the way.
I see. I was still wrapped around. This is where my head was at. They saw the black guys and crossed the street.
Yeah.
Right.
And then still went the opposite direction.
Right.
I was like,
okay. But then when she's attacked and they're like, can you describe him? And she goes, I don't know, white or Hispanic. And I went, oh, So, like, I thought we were going to have a whole racist episode.
Yeah.
Like, what was the point of black guys?
Because you never know where it could come from.
Yep. It was a racist. It was like a racist. It could have went in a teaching manner, or it could have went in a like, why did they put this racist scene in here? Because it did. It was where you would judge this. It wasn't that type of a person.
Pull the rug out of underneath.
I mean, they were covered from head to toe. I'm surprised that she was even able to pinpoint that they were white or Latino.
Yeah.
They were behind her. She couldn't see him.
I mean, I guess you do eliminate black.
How?
Well, if you see the lips.
Because if
because the ski mask, you can actually see.
I feel like this is the hair comment.
Oh, no.
Stay away from.
I think what you're saying is that the holes on the ski mask were big enough. I was actually thinking he wasn't wearing gloves, so his hands.
But it was so dark, I couldn't even tell, like, watching it.
Yeah.
What ethnicity.
Right. Well, yeah, because in that scene, she just like freezes straight forward. You know, it didn't look like she even
against the glass.
Didn't look back or anything.
Well, maybe there was a reflection. I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't want to laugh at that moment, but it was almost. I didn't realize there was glass there until her face started like, smudging up. I was like,
I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, all right.
Gosh, I feel like I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, I've thankfully, never been in that sort of situation before. But I have no idea what I would do, and like, there's no like, if you're being attacked like that, like no like wrong thing or right thing to do. But like, I feel like I would just like go crazy, you know. But also being so terrified like that and freezing and not knowing what to do at all.
To pull out some livisms, we have one of the classics that hasn't made an appearance in a long time, which is you did exactly what you needed to. You survived.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. I was like,
Yeah.
why didn't she like scream or like scratch or anything?
She did exactly what she needed to.
I know, and then I was like, "Cause Liv, you're right."
She survived.
oh my gosh, we need like a calendar where every day you just rip it off and it's a livism.
The other livism that I think applies to this is she always says that everyone always talks about fight or flight, but in these situations you forget freeze. And that's what happens to most people.
Yes, it's actually, you know what, not to take this to a different level, but I've never known what my response would be until I was in a situation where I was mugged to knife point before. Yeah. And so you're kind of put in that situation, and I felt the point of the knife right by my stomach, and the guy said, give me your money, give me your phone, or else I'm gonna stab you. And I was like, okay. This is interesting. I'm gonna hand you my stuff. I was
but like almost calm in a way.
So calm, unbelievably calm. Wasn't freaking out. Wasn't stressed out. I was just like, oh, okay. Well, what's the next best step?
Yeah. See, in that situation, I think I'd probably respond similarly. Like, it's just a phone. It's just my money. There you go.
Yeah.
You know.
But you're right. There's like freeze, and I wonder why people never mention that.
Because instinctually they believe that we're animals. It's fight or flight, blah, blah, blah. But no.
Animals freeze too.
Yeah, they freeze too.
Yeah,
like
guys.
There's a whole species of goats that just faints if they get scared.
Of goats?
Just not to like, completely take us off topic, but there you go.
Totally on topic. All right.
A deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, James in the booth.
Or those roly-polies.
Roly-polies.
Okay, now we're off topic. So we meet other people in our group of homeless
shelter
rapists.
People. Yes. Well, that's just a section.
Yeah, the section. I love the way they're like, well, if you're looking for these ones, they're in this room. Except for the new guy who went out to get dinner. And he likes donut holes.
Yeah, he does.
Donut holes are bomb.
Sorry.
What? Question, you're from the East Coast. I know in Massachusetts donut holes are munchkins.
Yeah.
Is it different in New York?
Munchkins?
No,
yeah, they're
munchkins. It's the same thing.
So then why were they donut holes? Written by a Californian.
They're, because who knows what a munchkin is?
Everyone on the East Coast.
Really?
I've never heard that.
Go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, you guys just got Dunkin'
totally
Donuts
from
out here.
California.
Anyway.
But yes.
All right. So, shh. So Michael Rapaport is our guest star in this episode. He's Klusky.
And you know what? He was also, when I saw him, I was like, oh, that was Phoebe's ex-boyfriend.
I know, we did.
From Precinct, when he shot the bird, she's like, oh, no.
I love Michael Rapaport. He's so funny. I was lucky enough to interview him once. He's the nicest guy.
Cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Don't like him as a rapist.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not such a
Very
fan.
odd.
Yeah. Anyway, so we now have this whodunit situation. It felt very much like a classic, good old SVU.
Yeah, but it was tricky.
It
I feel
was
like this one was
tricky.
pretty
It
tricky
was.
because I got tricked.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I did think it was,
The guy with the stutter?
no, it
I
was,
thought it was Richie the whole time. I'm like, well, duh, big actor. You
Yeah.
know, he's befriending Carisi.
Yep.
It's clearly
Yep.
there's going to be some Carisi conflict of like, oh no, but we became pals a
I was like,
little.
why
you know?
Oh, so you still thought it when the bat thing happened? Because when the bat thing happened, that's when I switched my story and I was like, oh,
When
no, when the
woman's,
bat happened.
when the woman's dad and brothers.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he came to help Carisi. No, that's when I thought for sure it's
Oh.
him. Like, 'cause
Yeah,
they're going to make us
that's what I-
like him, and then they're going to be like, psych rapist.
I agree.
no, when
I
he saved with
completely
the
agree.
bat, I thought it was Stutter.
Yeah.
No, I
but
thought it wasn't Stutter, and then I got surprised it was Stutter for part of it.
So because of the way that it was a voice ID, that's all we have is the voice ID. I was like, it's totally the stutter because you're not gonna. It's very
Easy to identify.
Usual
Yeah.
suspects.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, you think, oh, he's a stutter. It can't be him, but it is.
I was also waiting for Christian Bale at one point to show up because I was just like, do as I say.
Yeah.
Because first of all, when they went around to check everybody's
Where are the
voices,
drugs? Yeah.
that voice, and then even at the end with the lawyer, it was like, that's not how he said it at the beginning. Because I rewound it because I didn't even hear him
Oh, I didn't
speaking to
hear
her
it
at
at
the
the
beginning.
beginning.
I didn't hear either.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then when she was like so shocked by the voice, it was like, that's what you put together?
Yeah.
What did you see from the chat?
Oh, a few people in here were suspicious of Carisi.
Oh, the very first time I was almost going to hit you guys up and be like, wait a minute, did I miss something that I didn't see? Was there a news and gossip section or something? Like, did he not go for his test? And like, now he's just here.
I thought that when they asked him to do a filler voice, that she was going
gonna
to
pick
accuse.
him out.
She was
Yeah.
going to pick him out. I'm like, don't even bother. That's what I thought.
I thought we were going that direction as well, that she was going to accuse him because it was the closest voice, and we'd get to the end, and then it would be somebody else, and they'd have to question
Yeah,
him.
see, I probably wouldn't put, if I were Carisi, not put yourself in that position, because what if?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to be a sneaky rapist, then yeah, you would do that and be like, no, but I'm a cub. I just put him in it, you know?
She was confused already. And another thing is, they didn't really tell us in the beginning how there were only a few rapists that didn't speak.
Well, they didn't.
Right?
I don't think
But
they
some
put that
of the race-
together.
Yeah,
I don't think they put those together.
until the end.
Yeah. Until they realized that it had happened before. Nice.
Yes, Jane, that was a
Nicely
great
done. We also got a little bit of a story about Dodds, and we'll talk about Dodds in a bit.
I
And
like how they slipped that in there.
we'll talk about Dodds and Finn and all that in a bit. I want to talk about Zimmerman the Lawyer. For those who don't know, that is Scott Grimes, who is very well known as the voice of Kevin Swanson on Family Guy and Steve Smith on American Dad. He does a lot of voiceover. He's been on the NCIS's, ironically, as different characters. Even
Wait, whose voices does he do on like Family Guy?
on Family Guy, he's Kevin Swanson, and on American Dad, is Steve
the,
Smith, the son of John Swanson. John is the guy in the wheelchair.
Right.
Patrick Warburton is that voice. His son, Kevin.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He plays sons, apparently. Anyway, so, yeah. When I saw him, I was like, oh, that's interesting that he's now a lawyer here. All right, like, I'm going to let that slide. And then we had this scene where she figures it out, which I said to you reminded me of the little girl who peed her chair when she realized that the karate teacher was her rapist.
Yes, I remember that episode.
Yeah. So, like, seeing her and being like, oh my God, and Liv, like, registering that something was happening, and then had to, like, rule out that it was the other guy because she knew.
I just
loved
love
it.
how Liv handled the whole situation from that point on. It was just pure,
We got him.
Liv. When she came up from those stairs, it was like just ascending into greatness. I loved it.
I feel like, though, you wouldn't put them in the same, there wouldn't be a chance for them to cross paths that way, like in real life.
It
you
was
know?
very by luck, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It wasn't very
Wait,
realistic.
who?
Sorry, what?
For that girl to have recognized the lawyer. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
you know, you would because he was with who they thought was the rapist, so you
Yeah.
wouldn't have the suspected rapist
In
in the same place. Like, oh, whoops, the timing was off. You wouldn't do that ever.
So
so
what's
true.
funny is there have been multiple episodes
yeah.
where
Yeah.
like that happens, where they cross paths in the squad room, and I was thinking about that. and I was
Protect
like,
your victims a little bit better.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is how we end up with little girls getting shot and Stabler leaving. Like, that's how we end up with stuff like
And
this.
traumatized. I mean,
yeah,
you don't
that
want to
too.
see that. You
Minor
know,
detail.
you know.
However, it makes for a great episode.
Yes.
It does. Yeah, no, overall, really strong, good episode. Didn't know who did it.
I know.
It was,
Yeah.
I miss that.
Got me confused.
I liked it. I was like, oh. I said it out loud watching
And the
by
little
myself.
we always get these little details, like even from like the episode with them finding all the child pornography and things like that. So it was interesting for me this episode to hear the little traits, because you've heard like with rape victims they like to take the jewelry and
Little
stuff
keepsakes.
and like keepsakes and like give it
Trophies.
to other people or things like that.
Yeah.
But with this one, it was interesting that he didn't want that he only wanted the ones where he didn't speak to them.
What do you mean?
All the jewelry was from just the girls he didn't speak to. So
No.
the two
There
Those
prior.
two rapists.
There were two rapists. So the stuttering guy is the one where he didn't speak to the victims.
Right.
And he kept all that jewelry in his kit, in his
So he had
unit.
separated the jewelry.
No, it's two
That's
rapists.
where I was confused.
So the stuttering guy raped the women where he didn't speak to them.
Yep.
And then anytime the rapist spoke was the lawyer. And he has all that jewelry and then tried to frame Richie.
Richie. Okay. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm with you.
No, it's totally fine. It was a confusing
It
episode.
was very confusing.
Because I also was like, wait, what?
I actually had to rewind it a little bit. in that
Also, a
moment.
question for you guys: when Crazy went into the bathroom and found the jewelry in the toilet,
Yeah.
with that, like, did you think the mother was in at all for it? Because it's just like, I don't know, like, it looked like a very clean house, and I just know, like, that's like a first place that I do clean when I clean the bathroom. Like, I don't know, it was just an interesting place
Well, so
to
she
put.
was part of this, the setup for the lawyer, right? So the wife was in on the setup. They called her and let her know that we're setting up the
Right.
lawyer to see if he tries to frame your husband. So that's why she says, you can look in our bathroom. You
Yeah.
won't find anything. I remember watching that being like, okay, obviously there's something in the bathroom.
Right.
Like, girl. Which, if I were the lawyer, I would have questioned why it is that she said that, because I just framed her husband.
Right.
Anyway. All right, so we wrap up that story real nice. Carisi, we learned so much about him. And a little later, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Carisi. Go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say in the very beginning, like when the whole squad is in there and Carisi walks in, he's like, "Oh hey, sorry I'm late." Like, I'm sorry, but I felt like that was just so cheesy, so just dramatic. You know, everyone's like,
Yep.
It was dramatic.
yeah. I mean, and you're waiting for somebody's face to kind of like flinch, like they know. I'm like, oh, I know you're undercover. Like, you're my boy, you know. But
I was waiting for one of the people in the group to kind of put that together.
Because
throughout
they
the
all
whole.
froze.
yeah, it just seems so.
You know what I
In
mean?
real life, you would and be like, you guys know each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, with Carisi getting so attached to Richie, it almost was kind of like, you've been doing this for 2 years now. Like, why are you confused by this situation? Why are you so... I don't know. It was just like he was rooting for him so hard that I felt like he almost put blinders up until the moment where he said, all right, fine, no more. And were you guys taken back by that with his character?
I like that he had that relationship with, what's his name again?
Richie.
Richie, right? Because then I think at some point he was convinced that Richie was guilty. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe... How could I have been so blind? I study law, and how da-da-da. I like that they gave him that dilemma.
And we've seen that with Rollins and with Amaro, and we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
And we've seen with Carisi, especially lately, you know, he has a big heart and this stuff affects him a lot. And so, you know, it weighs on him. And so I think trying to find like little nuggets where you can, you know, he's kind
Yeah.
of seeking that out. And then he does get really sad.
It's interesting because he wasn't supposed to be this much of a
Well, we'll talk about it.
recurring character.
We'll talk about it. I have some news. All right, so before we move on, I want to talk a little bit about Finn's everything's changing. You have a baby and you have a baby.
That
Do
made me
you
a little
want a
sad
baby?
when he said it. I think that's the producers almost calling it out on themselves for the audience to let us know things are changing.
Yeah.
Accept it. You have to accept it.
Yeah, I also like
Yael,
dogs
Yael, you have to accept it.
because of the kids.
Yeah, the babies.
Which I saw Yael on Periscope with a baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture too.
Very
Somewhere.
entertaining, this child too. I was just like,
I was yelling at it to shut up. Didn't work. Anyway, so Dodds, we get a real quick, like, what is he at, some anti-terrorism task force training in Quantico? Yes, he'll be there for a week. Why was that written that way? That line specifically really bugged me. Where is he? Oh, he's here. Makes a lot more sense
Than guessing the right,
what
exactly
is he
the right
at
answer.
this specific place?
well,
So
I'm just
silly.
happy he
At a
doesn't show up
bodega
on
buying cigarettes.
with the seedy black men.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he's not actually crossing over onto the Quantico show, because we don't need that.
Different networks.
I mean, I'm,
Yeah, hey,
I'm here for
job.
networks and show. There are certain shows that I'm like, why don't you cross promote?
I agree.
To a certain, I think
I
it would
agree.
be fun.
Here's what, that you're on different
Anyway,
networks.
so Finn's not getting a parakeet. He's having
you.
dinner with his son and his son's husband because they want him to meet someone. Yeah, Finn. I'm excited. Sorry, that was just exciting. And then Rollins invites Carisi over for dinner to hang with the baby.
What did you take from that?
Well, so, okay. I have a Carisi article that I want to wait and talk about at the end.
okay.
Oh,
Because it-
so before we know the truth,
Yeah.
make some
Yeah.
assumptions.
Thoughts.
Okay, I think that they're just friends, and I think it's going to stay there. And I think that for Rollins, it's that kind of like solid type of family friendship relationship
Yes.
because she's had so much like crazy stuff in her past, and you know they're at similar levels in their careers and stuff. And I think it's a great. I like it being a friendship relationship, and plus I do not see the chemistry there.
Yeah.
No chemistry
Either.
whatsoever. They should not make it romantic. I don't think it's going to look natural enough as a romantic relationship because I've been seeing them more as a brother-sisterly kind of familial relationship. And now in this particular episode, it feels a little forced, to be
Right.
honest, that they're trying to take it to a romantic, possibly, alluding to
Yeah,
possibly.
I think they're trying to make us like to put that little
little seed, right?
seed in our minds
Don't
and be
plant
like,
it here.
oh, what's
Don't plant it
happening?
here.
What could be happening?
Now that you guys just brought it up, though, the fact that Rollins and Carisi both kind of have that, like, yeah, we want to get out there and get the bad guys, but at the same time, we, struggle internally with certain things in the force. That can create a certain type of bond. And so
True.
for me, after you guys kind of saying that, planning that, now I'm seeing like, okay, I can see the brother and sister thing, and I actually could kind of really like that.
well, and
Because it was a little too poor Carisi. Like she was like he was really homeless or something
Yeah,
at the time. Like, do you want to come over and hang out with the baby? Like,
Yeah. And,
yeah, poor you,
we'll have-
little baby Carisi.
We'll have dinner. No, we're going to shop on the way. You're cooking. I love that. I love that it's like she can't cook.
do you have those food stamps still from the shelter?
Any more donuts?
I would love to see them more playful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Less
brother sister
serious,
thing, for
more
sure.
playful. I think we need a playful relationship in there somewhere because it's gotten way too serious.
Yeah, like don't make him like the good guy that she finally like.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, because she's
it's
supposed to be with Declan Murphy.
Yes.
Just
Well,
to be
and
clear.
in that, in one of those interviews that we read a while back, a few weeks back before, when that first moment when she came back with the baby
Yeah.
and they're walking on the street with the stroller and stuff, the interview with Kelly, she was saying that like, oh, I think they're leaving it open ended, kind of, I've always seen their relationship as brother and sister, but I guess you never know, sort of thing. So there were no answers really,
Yeah.
but more of a kind of platonic relationship.
The reason why I thought they were more brotherly sisterly is because remember how in the beginning she was pregnant and she wasn't really telling anybody, and he kind of told her, well, when my sister was pregnant, he kind of offered that. Here, I get it.
They're buds.
You know.
All right.
I'm with
Enough
it.
about their babies.
Look, he stopped talking about babies.
All right.
We said it
Transition.
We got to take a moment to thank our fans. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thank you, everyone live in the chat,
know, we've
especially
got
because
tons
we
of
were
people.
late. Thank you so much. And yep. So thank you, everybody. We ask you to do a very simple thing. Go to iTunes, subscribe. That way you don't miss a single episode. Also, hit us with a rating and a review. If you like our show, that's 5 stars. If you don't like our show, that's 4 stars. The other stars, they've never worked, so don't bother. Just type on a keyboard. Tell us what you like, what we could be doing better, what your favorite of SVU is. Did I say episode? I forgot the word episode.
Yep, you did.
Whatevs. I'm really excited because we got something really exciting.
We do. So, Hanan,
Yay,
you wrote us a
girl.
review a while back, and we read it all but the very last bit, which was in Arabic. But guess what? We know what it says now, unless somebody punked me and it's totally wrong. But I'm trusting this
I
person.
really hope it's totally
No, but it's
wrong.
nice. So
Oh,
if I was
okay.
getting punked, I think they'd get a little more creative with it. So the Arabic part, Hanan, are you listening? You tell me if this is right. I love you all, and I love the program. Please continue the good work. Thank you.
That's
Thank you,
beautiful.
Hanan.
I know.
So
Aw,
sweet.
I'm so glad you got that translated.
Right? I know. Power
made
of
my day.
Facebook, pretty much. And thanks to all y'all in the chat. Hog342, Ariadne, Hanan, Verbs with a Z, Steven, and Taylor, and there's more people.
Thank you
Y'all are
guys.
cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So 2 topics were brought up in this episode that I really want to discuss, and the way this after show came about is because they like bring up issues on this show that I just need someone to talk to about, because you can't just go up to a stranger and go, "What do you think about rapists 20 years after they're incarcerated? Do you think they've been reformed?" You can't say that to a stranger.
Why not?
Yeah, I actually have had that conversation multiple times.
Anyway,
Which
so
is really
here is a
strange.
safe space where we can have that. So that's my question. Carisi brings up that when these people committed their crimes, when they raped people, children, whatever, he says they should have gone away for 20 years, but when they come out and you meet them and you talk to them and you play dominoes with them and you eat with them and you talk about your wives with them, are they the same people they were 20 years ago? Thoughts?
I like to think that they're not. I like to think that people are inherently good, even though there's a lot of messed up, evil people out there. But I know I'm not the same person even just a year ago. You know, when people say who I was 10 years ago, things like that. Like, okay, Kim Kardashian. I'm lightening it up with her, right? Everyone keeps bringing up her sex tape.
Really though?
I am. I'm going to bring it up. Because everyone keeps bringing up her sex tape. They're like, oh, she's famous because her sex tape. Her sex tape. You know, her sex tape was like 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really harsh for you to keep bringing that back because she's on a whole different level now. Are you the same person 13 years
But
ago?
at the same time, okay, it started with the sex tape, which started with the
That's-
relationship between her and another celebrity
we
male
could-
that got exposed. And then her trending is her with another male
Yeah.
celebrity in each relationship she does. So for me, it's kind of like, well, it's, even though, yeah, okay, we aren't seeing the sex tape, but it still is an innuendo to that.
I think what you're saying is that there's a pattern.
Yeah, so my thing about this is,
Yeah.
okay, it's hard for me. I know, so I went to school with someone and he was dating a younger girl and it came out and then he became this pedophile. And he's a nice kid. It was an innocent situation and it just turned really bad. And so he now has to live with all of these rules and regulations and this spotlight on him. So in his case, no, but I don't look at it like, and that was 15 years ago. So in this case, I'd look at it differently. But addiction is different. Addiction sometimes
Yes.
can take. I mean, people can be addicted to something for 20 years. So in that case, if you're doing the steps like we saw with Richie, he was taking the steps to get better and things like that. You know, as long as we're seeing that, but still, addiction is a really tough thing to just kind of wipe off. And with this level of entertainment for these people, I think that I would have to see a long history of positive patterns that are constantly changing, that you can use to change the inner workings of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I think it's different when it's what is your addiction, because
Yeah.
you know, being addicted to alcohol in itself is not necessarily bad, but being addicted to raping children, doing that once is awful, you know, but like drinking a lot once, like, yeah, that's not necessarily the best decision. So it's you know,
I don't know.
Maybe not raping kids, but maybe you're still looking at that stuff and where that guy said,
Yeah,
well,
or looking at-
someone's
that's-
doing it to that
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah, and that I think is like a whole different sort of wiring thing that isn't, I don't know, is it solved with like therapy?
There's going to
Who
be a
knows?
few people who can never change, and I think it ruins for the rest of people
Yeah.
who are given that second chance, and they take advantage of having that second chance and really doing good with that second chance.
Because it was sad at the end where he was like, I'm a convicted rapist my whole life, everyone will doubt me. And it
so-
was sad. Like,
Well,
That
and with
leads us
Richie-
that leads us totally to our second discussion question. And I'm going to throw it out there so you guys can
Yeah.
keep because I love this.
Oh, I know.
So heavy.
Getting real.
So, Carisi says a murderer does his time and he comes out and he's clean, whereas a rapist does his time and no one will ever trust him again.
I wouldn't trust
I
a
wouldn't trust a
murderer
murderer.
that gets out of prison.
Right, but like he's not restricted to never
Yeah.
live, at home again. He's never, he's not allowed to use a computer again. Like, it's different. Which
I don't
plays
think you can
into,
buy a gun or something.
It depends
right
on the
after-
state.
You could kill somebody so easily.
Well, right,
Like,
right.
Anyway, so applying that to Richie,
I mean,
as you were saying.
With Richie, I feel like with Richie's, I hate to say this because it's like rape is rape, but when you rape someone of full consciousness and clear mind, I think that's a little different than being blackout drunk. Like, yes, you still did it. It's still awful. You should still be punished. But
It seems like
it's like you rape. Do you feel remorse? And will you do it again? And if you don't do it again, then I think you should be forgiven and you should be treated as such, and not have that follow you. Unfortunately, it does because people perceive you the way they perceive you, and that's up to them. But I think it's sad when this has to keep following them when there are people who are genuinely going to be changing.
yeah.
Well, so we learned specifically from SVU that, a lot of times there are different levels on the registry, on the sex offender registry. So, like, someone who was 18 and his girlfriend was 16, that is one level, whereas, like, Gregory Searle, who was an old man raping children, that's a different level.
you say that, but I mean, this kid in my town,
Right.
it's just to this day, and
Oh,
this
he's
was
still
so
effed.
long ago, like, it's affected him with
Yeah.
jobs and like
Right.
his
And it's
whole
not like they
family
put-
has been tainted.
Yeah, because it's black and white, like on your
Yeah.
record.
They don't
and
put
they'll be like,
levels
oh,
on the
what is-
application.
yeah,
Right.
and you're like, oh, but it wasn't really. And they're
Right.
like, oh, yeah, right, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna believe you.
All right, well, unfortunately, we're running out of time and we still have so much more to cover. So, Isabelle, it's time for Isabelle Info Corner.
Yay!
We'll make a sound cue one day.
Well, this is kind of short and sweet. It's about, I looked up statistics because I was kind of interested in how, in the particular episode, they said, well, there's this string of rapes must have had happened because of this homeless shelter. It only started when this homeless shelter arrived to this part of town. It didn't happen before that. So, and then they kept using the word scapegoat. And actually that is a thing where where they use homeless people as a scapegoat. What do they say? Scapegoat offenders, where people actually, so in the past 12 years, they found advocates and shelter workers around the U.S. have received reports about women, men, and children being harassed and beaten, set on fire, decapitated, and not just beaten, but beaten to death because they were homeless. And a lot of them are homeless with a disability, which was kind of interesting because how in the episode that one guy decided to choose a stutter as his disability, but he wasn't really. But anyway, so they were saying how a lot of this is actually considered a hate crime, although it's not considered a hate crime in all the states, because hate crimes are usually for race.
Or like a class.
That's
You
so
know.
that's like a federal hate crime, whereas this is a state-based hate crime.
Right. So you can actually, certain states have added as a homeless status to the crime legislation. So California, for example, has it. Certain states have it, where that would be considered to be part of a hate crime.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Thank you for that,
Yay.
Isabelle Info Corner.
Yay.
All right, I want to talk to us about this Carisi interview that I got. So it's a new interview. I just want to read some important pieces that I've highlighted or underlined, as the case may be. So in this episode, we see again him bringing up his law studies. I wanted to be a lawyer once. And Laura's like, good luck with that.
I wonder if he's trying to solidify like a new lawyer role character.
So according to this interview, the actor who plays Carisi, whose name is
Something Italian.
something, Peter Scanavino, something super Italian. There you go. Peter Scanavino says that he knows that this is what he wants to dedicate his life towards, but I don't think he has any definitive plan. I'm going to be a police officer and then I'm going to become a lawyer, definitely. I think it's still open for him, and that's a question on his mind, which he's going to have to resolve in the near future. And then was asked if he thought he'd be taking on Barbara's role. which really upset me. And he said he would never take Barbara's job. And in fact, there's like a bunch of steps, and there's no way he's going to get there anytime soon. And the Rollins-Carisi situation. They definitely have a special friendship that's developed very organically.
Special friendship.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Developed organically. At first, they were very at odds, and she was very dismissive of him. He was sort of kind of pain in her side. Yeah. Then it bumped up, and he was sort of her annoying little brother. And now, especially with her baby, and Carisi was there for her, I think it's developing something great, something of great mutual respect. Is it still definitely on the friendship level? Who knows? But it stays there. It could develop itself. It could develop into something itself. That's what's really interesting about the relationship with Rollins. Blah, blah, blah. I think there are a lot of possibilities here. I think all of those possibilities have grown from Kelly and I interacting with each other on screen. It wasn't like we were getting steered into a storyline. It was just organically growing. And then there's an entire thing about how he was originally supposed to be 3 episodes, and he showed up on his first day, he says. So I definitely made sure when I showed up on my first day that I was not going to be a problem for anyone, that I was going to know all my lines, hit my cues, and not ask the writers to change
Just
anything.
like cute little Carisi.
I know,
right?
it's so crazy to do that.
I showed up ready to work, and fortunately, after my first day, they said they were going to give me 7 episodes, and that progressed quickly into becoming a regular. He says, if Warren Leight, the showrunner, said he wears a pink tuxedo the whole time and clown shoes, I would have been like, perfect, I'll do it. And he also said that it's really great that the character grew and that he didn't have, like, you're coming on as a series regular, and now he had to prove himself. The other thing was that a lot of people, as you know, we didn't like him at first.
Yeah. But see, I called myself out right then and there, too, and I said, I have a feeling I'm going to like him.
Yeah.
He's
gonna make
my
me like-
top 3 favorite people on the show.
Yeah.
I hate that I like him.
I like him.
So he said that I felt like it was real. I was settling into who Carisi was in Porn Stars Requiem. Love that episode. That's the first episode where we meet Barbara. Then I started understanding how Carisi was going to be kind of a no-nonsense, but overall extremely empathetic person. That started to really translate to the audience in Glasgow Man's Wrath, where he was there was a mentally unstable person who we thought was the killer, and I was able to talk to him, relate to him, and I had some very tender scenes with him. And that's where the fans turned and said, this guy isn't just a brash guy from the Staten Island, but he has a heart, and he's able to listen. Yeah. Also, lastly, because I know you all love babies, so...
It says baby.
It says
Circle.
baby. Okay, so everybody has a baby on the show, apparently. He just had a baby named Leo. Great. And they said, I don't know if Leo's going to come on the show. Babies need to be very calm for TV, and Leo's a little unpredictable. Gross. So I don't know, but you never know. It might be cute just to show him when he gets older. So if there's another baby and it's a boy, it might be his son Leo. Ugh, I really hope not. Okay. Also, big news. Christopher Maloney is going to be on Inside the Actors Studio tonight.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then we better tune in.
I already set my DVR. So he also reveals that the writers of the show knew to never cross the line with Stabler and Benson, that to keep the tension there the entire time, but to never cross that line because it would ruin everything.
Yeah, you know what?
He's right. I
He's
think
right,
so.
absolutely.
Okay.
Because I still think about it.
Yeah.
I
Right.
still wonder.
Home of
Right?
hopeless romantic over
Yeah.
here.
Did you wonder?
Yep. All right.
So,
yes.
Verbs listened to my episode of your
Sure.
of your show, yeah, and shared things with people in the
Oh,
chat
great.
about it.
Great.
But not holding that against me, that part of my past. Thanks, guys.
Why are you bringing this up now?
It's in the chat.
Maybe-
Law and
Oh,
Order.
it made me
Somebody
laugh.
mentioned it.
All right. So, on that note, we need to head into predictions. I'm like disappointed.
actually didn't
Yeah.
see
See you guys next year.
I'll tell you why.
TV predictions.
Okay, the next episode of SVU is May 4th.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
Just to be
bye.
clear, it's not even April. Just
Well,
to
I
be
mean-
clear, today it is not even April. Yesterday, still not April. And our next episode is May 4th.
That's weird. Is
Yeah.
that like another hiatus?
Yes,
do this all
but
the
I was told by someone lovely who tweeted at me, whose name I didn't write down because I'm an awful person, that it's going to be 4 episodes continuously after that. Episode 20, 21, 22. Anyway, the end of the season is going to be through May. We're just going to finish it out. But next week we will not be doing an episode. But I hope the week after, through till May 4th, so we have a new episode. We will do the episodes we missed from season 16. I don't know how many we have left, but if we run out, there are plenty of episodes that I would love to cover.
And what do you guys send in your favorites?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
that's a
gosh.
great-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know about predictions. Do you guys have anything you want to predict without knowing anything?
I think it's I think there's something dramatic with Dodds, and I think he's gonna be out.
Oh.
I think there's gonna be something very dramatic with him, and I think either it leads to him quitting completely, or like he gets hurt, injured, or possibly, something even more worse than that.
I think Benson's drinking problem has to become a thing.
Yeah, because we still, it was like
Yeah.
they build it up and then it's just gone. I mean, and then it's hard to even go back to that moment because we have so many weeks off and it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
and then so many other big plots and storylines come up. I'm just excited for this Bachelor episode that they keep talking about, and I just
Oh yeah.
am really interested to see how Liv is going to be pulled on set for this. So
Yeah. Well, I'm curious if we're going to get a little love with Finn now. That'll be kind of fun. A little more personal life.
I feel like
I
it's
feel
going
like
to
we're
be.
not going
Yeah, no,
to.
it's going to be like when Cragen was dating someone, and we'd only see her when Liv had dinner parties. Like,
But-
I have a girlfriend.
But we pretty much, that's like when we see everyone's
Yeah.
like families.
Yeah.
That lives like the Christmas party or like anything,
I just
Finn
like,
feels so far away to me, though.
Yeah.
He feels so far away.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't connect to him.
well, and he also hasn't been on the past
A few
3
weeks, yeah.
episodes.
Well, I mean, in real life, he also just had a baby.
Well, yeah.
Which is why it was funny. He was like, "You want a baby?" I was like, "He has one."
He just got one.
Yeah, he doesn't need another one.
Oh, and Liv's drinking, which
Yes.
Cindy Crowther is reminding
Yeah, I
us.
said that.
And more,
I said that.
oh yeah, more tucks and kissing. I'm just saying, what?
Yeah, an actual kiss would be nice.
Right, not some
Yeah.
weird like.
Okay,
And make it a
kiss.
good
Worried
kiss, not
kiss.
an awkward, uncomfortable one. Make it
Yeah.
a good one. Like,
Make it passionate.
yeah.
Come on,
Steamy.
like this. No, I'm kidding. That would have been so great. That would have been hilarious. Okay. I predict that you guys will see us real soon right here for more SVU. Until then, Jesse, where can people find you?
Y'all can hit me up everywhere on social media at DJ Jesse J.
And Isabelle.
Find me at Isabelle too.
And Lauren.
Awesome, guys. Find me on Snapchat and Instagram at Lauren Salaun.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
all.
let's stay focused tonight.
All right. You guys can find me online at Yael TV. That's YAEL.TV. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everything. At Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. I apologize for all the letters. And if you want to hear, I've had all 3 of my panelists on Intimate Interrogations, a free podcast on iTunes. Check it out. It's also on Podbean if you don't have iTunes. But all 3 of them have been there and
Things
revealed all
get
sorts of
real.
real stuff. We'll see you here next time for more SVU.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun, dun, dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.